Enjoyment. Everyone's trying to enjoy themselves, and everybody finds different ways of enjoying themselves. And some people succeed, and some people don't succeed very well. But it is just very important to remember that you can choose it, and even if you're in a difficult place, you can choose an enjoyable way of dealing with your difficult place. You can choose to let go of your difficult place if that's better for you. The point about it is that enjoyment is actually a very fertile place, let's say. We tend to think, okay, enjoyment, well, I just want to enjoy myself. Why not? I just want to enjoy myself today. I just want to enjoy what I'm doing at the moment, because that's more enjoyable than not enjoying. And that's very obvious, and it's simple, and the simplicity works. But it's useful to know a little bit about what's behind the simplicity, because it allows you to give yourself permission to enjoy when everyone else thinks that you should not be enjoying at the moment because it's a very serious situation and there's no room for enjoyment here, or it's a very sad situation, there's definitely no room for enjoyment there, or it's a very frightening situation and certainly there's no room for enjoyment there, or it's something that everybody should be paying attention to, and so no enjoyment. We have so many ways of saying, no, not here, not here, not here, not here, not here. If all the circumstances are right, if everything is in the right place, you may enjoy yourself for a little while until everything goes wrong again, and then you have to stop enjoying yourself and get on with everything that's wrong. And it all sounds very sensible, because why could you enjoy serious situations? Why could you enjoy frightening situations? It's like they don't really go together. Except that at the level of energy, enjoyment, my teacher always used to talk about enjoy, because she couldn't, I don't know if she could write English or spell English. She was not like me, all clever and brainy about Latin and Greek and things like that. She had no idea about the roots of words. So it was just really obvious to her. Enjoyment, enjoy, just, that's the place to be. The point about it is that in enjoyment, there's a circulation of energy. It's like a circulation of energy between us, and I would say between all the energy, the beings, the aliveness, the all of it, but especially the parts of it that supply human beings with everything that human beings need at an energy level. So to me, that's the power of enjoyment, is the power of the circulation of energy. Because when we enjoy, it's a really simple way that doesn't require you to be clever or sophisticated or experienced or highly developed at a personal level. It's just a thing that any human being has access to just enjoy, and the circulation opens up. So it's very powerful, because people can learn that from day one. You can teach your kids just to give themselves permission to enjoy, because they don't always either. They can be very good at it. They can also forget about it. And that enjoyment opens up the circulation of energy. It opens up the supply of energy. And because it's enjoyment, because it's not being serious, being angry, being afraid, being whatever all those other things are, because it's enjoyment, it's a kind of simple, positive place to be. It opens you up to positive energy, really simply. And it is the key to things like money. It is the key to getting a partner. It's the key to solving problems. It's the key to moving on in your life. It's the key to letting go. It's the key to so many things if you want something simple. it like enjoyment, it opens up the circulation of energy. Now, when I talk about enjoyment, I'm talking about it being real and about it. So it is a choice. It is not something that works to use as a kind of cover over of the stuff that is uncomfortable, painful, hurting, and all of that. So that's the one thing that I would say. What I would say, though, in relation to that, is that the more you give yourself permission to enjoy, the more, if there is stuff to be dealt with that you have covered over, you will find yourself being offered the opportunity to deal with what's not working. And this is to me the real beauty of life. This is why we can actually relax and why we can enjoy. Because when there's something that we need to pay attention to, or when there's something that's actually getting in the way of our continuing enjoyment and continued growth and expansion and experience of life, we don't need to keep like an eye open for it, so to speak. Life will put it squarely in your face and make it so that you can't avoid taking notice of that. And at one level, we want to get back to enjoyment again. If something's been put in front of your face, like, this is something you need to deal with, or this is something that's really triggering you. Sometimes it can be things that trigger you. Then you want to get back to that place of enjoyment, or you want to open up enjoyment again. And then you have to find a way to get there. And if you really have to find a way because you understand that the circulation of energy happens when you're enjoying, and that when you're in pain or when you're really struggling with something, the circulation is constricted because we constrict ourselves when we are in pain. That's what we tend to do. Then the desire for enjoyment will open up all the steps you need to actually sort it all out. If you need help from somebody, that person will be there. If you need to go in a different direction, that direction will be like fair and square right in front of you. It will be like stupid not to go in that direction. Of course, sometimes we're stupid. But if we're stupid and we go off in another direction, life is not going to say, oh, you went that way and I went that way, so bye-bye. It doesn't do that. It goes with you. It is with you. It's what, we're all part and parcel of the same thing. And so this simple desire for enjoyment that we have as human beings is a very powerful aspect of our being if we give it place in our life. If we allow it to draw us toward it, if we allow ourselves to say, that really is what I want. It's not a big deal. It's not a difficult thing. I want to enjoy my life. I want to enjoy this situation. So many people, and often I meet people who can remember times when they were kids. It was like everyone was trying to tell them, you can't enjoy this, and you shouldn't enjoy that. And they wanted to enjoy. And nowadays, as adults, there are very serious situations that mean that enjoyment isn't appropriate. But if we switch that off, then we switch off, or we switch away from a pure, simple, open circulation of energy, which is the energy that allows change. It is the energy that brings change. It is the energy of evolution. It is the energy of growth. It is the energy of life. But when we switch off the enjoyment, we're restricting our access to the energy of life. And then whatever it is that we're so extraordinarily serious about is going to start to feel rather more serious, because there is less of that evolving energy being supplied to it. And of course, the other thing is that when we're very serious about things, and I can be serious, like many of us, we are, whatever it is we're talking about and playing with and being serious about, is what we're taking in at an energetic level. So suddenly this serious situation that we're thinking about or talking about or dealing with in our lives has become our food. And guess what happens when you do that? It feels worse and worse. It's like I'm eating shit food and I'm wondering why I'm feeling shit. It's like, oh, well, let's eat some more of that, shall we? And it's like, oh, this does not feel good. All right, well, let's examine it and see what's going on. And so it goes deeper and deeper and deeper down into the hole. Very, very easy and compelling. And you think that you're going to get somewhere. And, well, it's not the energy to eat, okay? So there is a natural sense in us for enjoyment, and there is a natural desire in us for enjoyment, which we have often really trained ourselves to cut off from. And if you can find enjoyable ways of heading out of difficult situations or challenging situations, you'll find that the energy circulates. It will bring you what you need to deal with whatever needs to be dealt with. And it will bring it to you in a lighter way than you would otherwise experience. And so what I'm really saying is, don't deny that natural part of you, that natural voice that just craves enjoyment. It's like simple enjoyment. It can be simple enjoyment of a conversation, it can be simple enjoyment of a meal, it can be simple enjoyment of going for a walk or doing your work or thinking about things or whatever it is. And if you give yourself permission for that, you might sometimes wonder why something lands in your way that doesn't feel enjoyable. But that is like the way of putting in your path something that's going to open up more for you. So we don't need to ignore what's going on in life. When we find a lighter way of dealing with it and actually dealing with it, then things move more quickly. Things shift, and it's the circulation of energy that allows that to happen. So energy brings us everything. It brings us every opportunity. It brings us, is it the right expression? It's just like kind of a self-manifestation, but it feels like, to us, it feels like we're being brought things. It's like, little presents being deposited in our path. So life, that energy brings us all our experience. When you look for an opportunity, a business opportunity, for example, that comes through energy. It doesn't actually come through your brilliance. It comes through the brilliance, if you like, of the energy. Now you can share in that brilliance, or you can not share in that brilliance. And your enjoyment is your key to sharing in the brilliance, because when you open up your enjoyment, then you open up that circulation. And guess what? You have brilliant ideas. You have brilliant opportunities. Brilliant things happen to you. Brilliant, shining, sparkling. Brilliant means shining. Because the circulation of energy is working. And it just appears to bring to you everything that you're looking for, sometimes better than what you were looking for, sometimes better than what you ever could possibly have imagined was what you were wanting. And sometimes it appears to bring along something that doesn't really feel very nice. It doesn't feel enjoyable. It's like, that's not the thing. And you might run away then from whatever this is. It's like, ooh, I don't like that. I'm going to run away into something that's more enjoyable. That's okay if you do that. That's fine. And life will bring you something else that doesn't feel very enjoyable. And you might run away again just to something more enjoyable. That's okay. Just do that. And life might bring you something else that doesn't feel very enjoyable. And probably you'll run again and again and again and again and again, because that's what we do. And that's a perfectly natural thing to do, because we are drawn to enjoyment. And at a certain point, you won't be able to go forward. There will be no place of enjoyment for you anymore until you actually enjoy that really unenjoyable thing. You learn, you discover, you open up the enjoyment in there rather than away from it. Now, when you've done that many times, you may learn to find enjoyment in the bits of life that are right in front of you. So gradually, we learn to escape less and to just stay here more and to find the enjoyment in the situation. But I don't really expect that at the beginning. And life doesn't really require that of us. It's just that it becomes more and more obvious that if you allow yourself to find that enjoyment, to keep looking for it in the situations that you're in, something opens up, which is, there's a deeper enjoyment that opens up for you that way. But to begin with, you don't do that. And the point about this is that even if you follow a path of what, somebody might say, the wrong kind of enjoyment, life will actually bring you. It will always kind of direct you, and it'll narrow your options until you come back to find this simple circulation of energy. So at one level, we really don't need to be afraid. We can have some unpleasant experiences, that's for sure. But we don't need to be afraid. And if you're not afraid of life and of the way it treats you, that immediately opens up more enjoyment and there's more circulation. It actually treats you, it appears to treat you better. It's not really that life is treating you better. Life is treating you really well all the time. But when you allow that, then it gets easier. But even if you take the path, the hard path, even if you take the path of kind of blind ignorance and ignoring what's going on, ultimately life will bring you to a place where the only option going forward is enjoyment. It's really ironic. That place probably feels horrible. Probably feels like you've got no choice whatsoever, that you are completely stuck. There is no way open for you that you can see, that anyone else can see. And because as human beings, we're not very sure what's going on when it's like that. You can be frozen, you can be stuck, you can want to run away, you can feel depressed, you can feel hopeless, you can feel angry, you can feel confused, and all different kinds of things. But you can't get out of it anymore. You're stuck. There's a rock here, there's a hard place here, there's a sharp pointy stick in front of you, and there's a whole barricade of sharpened sticks behind you. You can't fly because you feel like your feet are stuck in the mud. You can't tunnel or burrow or fight or anything. And that is where life is showing you the path, ironically, to greater, richer, deeper, simpler enjoyment. So whether you listen or you don't listen, whether you follow the path of enjoyment or you don't follow the path of enjoyment, everything ultimately leads to enjoyment. Everything will bring you back, because enjoyment is a circulation of energy between us and life, between us and the beings, the energy that actually is is like the creative supply of life through us. And when we don't have that circulation, our life is very, very uncomfortable and disappointing, and feels like we're lacking something. When we have that circulation in abundance, we really experience abundance. And we think, I can enjoy life now. I've got everything I want. Funnily enough, it really doesn't work like that. You can have everything you want and not necessarily enjoy. But if you enjoy, everything you want rather tends to be served to you on a plate, becomes a great deal easier for it to actually happen. It very much doesn't seem to be the point when it happens, and you realize that the enjoyment itself is the place to be. And so when you find yourself, increasingly what you'll do when you find yourself in a place that is simply not enjoyable, and we all do, and that's simply like part of the guidance system, if you like, you start to look very actively for a way to find that enjoyment again, just where it's like it opens up, the energy is circulating again. And you don't need to run away so hard anymore, because you learn gradually that it's kind of right in the middle of the hole that you're sitting in. That's the bit that you can't see with all those sharp sticks and hard rocks. You can't see where it lies. But with experience, you find that it's always there. And so you don't go away from it. You just stay there and find that place within you where the enjoyment opens up. And you'll find yourself doing whatever it takes to be able to experience that circulation again, because you realize how important that is for life, for everything. If you want money, if you want a partner, if you want to solve problems, if you want to discover your purpose, if you want to live your purpose, if you want to really contribute, all these things that we want, you'll find that this very, very simple thing that a child can do, that a really horrible person can do, that a really unevolved person can do, that somebody who's done no personal development, no spiritual growth can do, they can enjoy. We all have access to it. And that enables us all to, at every step of our life, ultimately to kind of find the next step, to find that evolution and growth through the circulation of energy, through the circulation of life force energy, through the circulation of our messaging and our coding and our instructions in a really, really simple way.